From the studios of Books in Motion, this is Rusty Nelson reading The Shopkeeper, a Steve Dancy tale by James D. Best. Now let's begin with The Shopkeeper. Chapter 1. 2. Richard scratched his stubbly chin with ink-stained fingers. Pass. I turned to my partner. He passed, but not before giving me a sour look. Everyone stared at Dr. Dooley. He took his time, but we all knew. After forcing us to watch his little drama, he finally said, "Pass." And I immediately responded with hearts. I caught an uneasy glance from Jeremiah, but I gave my partner a wink and led with the ace of spades. Richard's three of hearts was in mid-flight, when a distant gunshot froze everything but the floating card. When I started to speak, Jeremiah halted me with an upraised palm and perked ears. After a few moments, my companion's rigid expression suddenly regained life. "Damn," Dooley said. "Looks like you might have some work, Doc," Jeremiah said. "A series of gunshots means a drunk got rowdy, but one or two means somebody probably got himself shot," Richard said. The explanation was for me, the newly arrived city dweller. The year was 1879, and I had come to the western frontier to explore and find adventure. I had arrived in this Nevada mining settlement only 4 days before, and had soon made friends with the only literate men in this stovetop town. "Stay here." Dr. Dooley scratched his chair away from the table. "I'll have a look." "Doc, just hang in and finish the hand," Richard said. "They'll come and get you if they need you." On hot nights, Richard propped the front door ajar with a heavy can of ink. Dooley glanced through the opening to see if any hysterical men were running in our direction. "They know where you are," Richard added. Dooley scooted his chair back up to the table. "All right, let's play." When I arrived in town, I'd gone over to the newspaper office to buy current and back issues of the town paper, a habit I had picked up in my travels. A quick read of 4 or 5 issues gave a person a fair grasp of the town and its grand denizens. Pickhandle Gulch seemed to have a penchant for rowdiness, but the newspaper stories concentrated on the silver mines and their monthly production. As best I could tell, people with good claims were growing richer than the paper miners I was familiar with on Wall Street. When I had entered the print shop 4 days ago, Richard, reporter, editor, and printer, looked pleased to sell some old copies, but he was absolutely delighted when I answered a casual query in the affirmative. Yes, I knew how to play whist. Reverend Cunningham, their fourth, had died a few weeks prior, and the 3 men had been in a funk ever since. Thus started our nightly ritual of after-dinner whist. Funny how the little pleasures make life worth living, and life in Pickhandle Gulch needed some diversion beyond the predictable fare at Ruby's whorehouse. I had visited many western towns, but Pickhandle Gulch seemed especially bleak. The discovery of silver had attracted rough-hewn men from all over the continent, and now the settlement had grown to be the largest in southwest Nevada. "Richard, it's your lead, for God's sake!" Jeremiah used an oath I presume the Reverend Cunningham would have objected to. Everybody returned their attention to the cards, Richard with a smidgen of glee, and my partner with elevating levels of disgust every time Richard pulled another heart from his hand. Despite my best efforts, the hand played out badly for us, and we went set. I guessed that my 3 companions were close to my age, and I had just celebrated my 31st birthday. Richard showed the fastidiousness of a printer, and was afflicted with a strain of grumpiness that could become endearing once you got to know him. And he